Have you ever seen the sky turning dark in the middle of the day? Not because of the clouds or a storm, but because billions of insects are flying overhead. This terrifying natural phenomena has happened many times throughout the history, and the creature responsible are called desert locusts. These insects are among the most destructive agricultural pests on earth. A single swarm can destroy crops, threaten food security, and affect lives of millions of people within a few days. Locust swarms are not only a scientific mystery but also an economic and environmental challenge. Farmers fear them because they can wipe out months of hard work in a matter of hours. Entire field of wheat, rice, maize, vegetables, and fruit trees may disappear after a swarm attack. Understanding how locusts behave, reproduce, migrate, and form a giant swarm is essential for protecting the global agriculture and preventing food crisis. At first glance, locusts may look like an ordinary grasshopper. In fact, locusts and grasshoppers belong to the same insect order called Orthoptera. However, locusts possess a remarkable ability that make them unique. Under certain environmental conditions, they can transform from solitary insects into highly social swarm-forming pests. This transformation is one of the most fascinating examples of behavioral change in the animal kingdom. Normally, locusts live alone in dry desert regions. In this solitary phase, they avoid each other and cause little damage. Their body color is usually dull green or brown, helping them blend into the environment. But after a period of heavy rainfall, vegetation grows rapidly in deserts, creating ideal breeding conditions. As locust population increase, the insects begin to come into physical contact with one another more frequently. Scientists discovered that repeated touching of locusts' hind legs triggers chemical and neurological changes inside their bodies. These changes increase the serotonin level in the nervous system, causing a dramatic alteration in the behavior and appearance. The insects become more active, social, and aggressive. Their body color changes to bright yellow and black pattern, and they begin forming groups. This process is called gregarization. Once gregarization begins, small groups combine into massive swarm containing millions or even billions of locusts. These swarms can travel enormous distances using wind currents. Once gregarization begins, small groups combine into massive swarm containing millions or even billions of locusts. These swarms can travel enormous distances using wind currents. Some swarms move more than 150 km in a single day. Because of their mobility, locust outbreaks can rapidly spread across multiple countries and continents. The most notorious species is the desert locust, found across parts of Africa, Middle East, and South Asia. Locust swarms have affected countries such as Pakistan, India, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, and Yemen. In severe outbreaks, governments declare agricultural emergencies because crops destruction threaten food supplies and economic stability. A medium-sized swarm may contain around 40 million locusts in 1 square kilometer. Scientists estimate that such a swarm can consume the same amount of food in one day as tens of thousands of people. Imagine billions of hungry insects landing on fields and eating nearly every green plant they encounter. Leaves, stems, flowers, fruits, and crops can vanish within hours. The damage caused by locusts is not limited to the agriculture alone. Livestock and other animals suffer because swarms destroy grazing vegetation needed by cattle, goats, and sheep. This creates additional economic pressure on rural communities that depends on farming and animal husbandry. Historically, locust plague have influenced human civilization for thousands of years. Ancient writings from Egypt, the Middle East, and Asia mention devastating locust invasions. In some regions, people consider locusts a symbol of famine and disaster because repeated outbreaks often led to hunger and economic collapse. Modern science has helped researchers better understand locust biology and migration patterns. Scientists now use satellite drones, climate data, and geographic information system to monitor environmental conditions favorable for breeding. Since rainfall and vegetation growth are closely linked to the locust outbreak, early detection systems play a critical role in control efforts. Climate change may increase the frequency and intensity of locust outbreak in future. Rising temperature, cyclones, and unusual rainfall pattern create ideal conditions for rapid breeding. For example, several recent outbreaks in East Africa were linked to the unusual weather events associated with climate variability. Locust reproduction is extremely rapid. Female locusts lay eggs in moist, sandy soil using a specialized egg-laying structure called an ovipositor. A single female can lay dozens of eggs multiple times during her life. Under favorable conditions, populations can increase hundreds of times within a few months. The life cycle of locusts include three main stages: eggs, hoppers, and adult. The hoppers are young wingless locusts that move in marching bands across the ground. Even before developing wings, hopper bands can destroy vegetation over large areas. As they mature into adults, they gain the ability to fly long distances and form aerial swarms. Scientists and governments use various strategies to control locust populations. Chemical insecticides remain one of the most common methods. Aircrafts and ground vehicles spray pesticides over affected regions to reduce swarm size. However, chemical control has limitations because pesticides may also harm beneficial insects, wildlife, and environment. Biological control methods are becoming increasingly important. Researchers study natural enemies of locusts, including fungi, birds, reptiles, and parasitic insects. One biological control method uses fungal pathogens that infect and kill locusts without causing major environmental damage. Such eco-friendly approaches are considered more suitable or sustainable in long term. Integrated pest management, often called IPM, combines multiple strategies including surveillance, early warning systems, biological control, and targeted pesticide use. Instead of relying entirely on chemicals, IPM focus on reducing environmental impact while improving control efficiency. Technology is revolutionizing locust management. Satellite imagery help identify vegetation growth in remote deserts. Drones can monitor swarms movement and estimate population density. Artificial intelligence models are also being developed to predict outbreak risk based on weather patterns and ecological conditions. Local communities play a major role in locust surveillance. Farmers are often first people to notice unusual insect activity. Rapid reporting systems allow authorities to respond before swarms become uncontrollable. Public awareness and regional cooperations are essential because locusts easily cross national borders. Pakistan has experienced several significant locust outbreaks in recent years. Agricultural regions in Sindh, Punjab, and Balochistan faced serious crop damage during major invasions. Government agencies, agriculture departments, and international organizations collaborated to monitor and control swarms using aerial spraying and field surveillance. The economic cost of locust outbreak can be enormous. Crop losses, reduce farmer income, increase food price, and threaten national food security. Poor rural communities are especially vulnerable because they depend heavily on seasonal agriculture for survival. Interestingly, locusts are not entirely harmful in every context. In some countries, people eat locusts as a source of protein. Locusts are rich in nutrients including protein, fats, vitamins, and minerals. Some scientists suggest edible insects could contribute to future food sustainability. However, during agricultural outbreak, the damage caused by swarms far outweighs any potential benefits. Birds are among the natural predators of locusts. Species such as storks, gulls, and crows often feed on swarms. Yet, even large number of predators are usually unable to stop massive outbreak completely. Another fascinating feature of locusts is their coordinated movement. Swarms behave almost like a single living organism. Scientists study swarm behavior to better understand collective movement in nature. Similar principles are even applied in robotics, artificial intelligence, and traffic management research. Locusts communicate through movement, visual signals, and chemical cues. Their ability to synchronize flight patterns allow swarms to maintain cohesion over long distances. Studying these behaviors provide insights into the animal communication and group dynamics. Research laboratories worldwide continue studying locusts' genetics, physiology, and ecology. Understanding the molecular basis of swarms' behavior could lead to the new environmentally friendly control methods in future. Scientists are particularly interested in the hormonal and neurological mechanisms responsible for phase transformation. International cooperation is extremely important because locust outbreaks are transboundary problems. Organizations such as Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations coordinate monitoring and response activities across affected regions. Sharing information between countries improve early warning system and help prevent large-scale agriculture disasters. Education and preparedness remain key defenses against future outbreak. Farmers trained in early detection can report breeding areas quickly. Governments involving in surveillance infrastructure can reduce response time and minimize crop losses. The story of locust swarm reminds humanity how closely human survival is connected to the environmental balance. Small ecological changes in remote deserts can eventually affect food supplies for millions of peoples. Nature operates through interconnected systems, and understanding those systems is essential for sustainable agriculture. Although locust swarms are frightening, science provides hope. Improved forecasting, modern technology, biological research, and international collaborations are making it possible to manage outbreaks more effectively than ever before. The next time you hear about a locust invasion, remember that behind those giant swarms lies an extraordinary story of insect behavior, climate, survival, and global food security. These tiny insects demonstrate how even small creatures can have enormous impact on human society and environment. Locusts may be among nature's most destructive insects, but they are also among its most scientifically fascinating. Their transformation from a harmless solitary insect into a giant migratory swarms remains one of the greatest wonders of natural world. For more videos related to science and science facts, do not forget to like and subscribe our channel.